We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and my guest today is the co-founder of Fabulingua, Leslie Omana Begert. Leslie, thanks for stopping by again. And you know what? You got to be so happy that you created Fabulingua. I mean, the amazing stories, it just got to feel so good from how it just started with your kid and how you were teaching your child, and then a business came out of it.
Yeah. It's actually been, really, I started it because I just found this method to be really effective, this method I'd created. And I really wanted to, when I got feedback from my kids' teachers, there's little Spanish teachers at school, I decided I really wanted to share that methodology that I created with other families because it was just so effective. And since then, we've just heard such wonderful feedback from parents and from teachers. And so actually both parents and teachers keep on reaching out and letting us know how much they're loving it. So it's really rewarding.
Well, it definitely seems like it's a rewarding process to be able to do something like this and to be able to help people like this. It's got to feel great. And you have some amazing stories of people who've used the product. So could tell us a couple of them.
Yeah. I mean, we've got, oftentimes teachers are parents and parents are teachers. And, but we've got feedback beyond that, even from speech pathologists. I'm going to read you one from a woman who's north of Boston. What you're doing with Fabulingua is really extraordinary. It's so hard to find high quality resources and the stories are beautiful. I'm from Puerto Rico and a speech pathologist at a local school district. I also teach Spanish to young kids virtually. I recommend Fabulingua to my students' parents and friends. My 5-year-old daughter also gets very excited about it. So that's from people who are bilingual speech pathologists. So that's kind of interesting to hear how helpful they're finding it in their work. We've also had feedback from language researchers. Here I've got one from a woman who is a researcher for mobile assisted language learning and computer assisted language learning. So this is her jam. This is all she does. And she says, I'm a researcher and learned about your app through the Launchpad competition, and I got it for my kiddos. We speak Spanish at home, but they're receptive bilinguals. And this is the first time they've actually loved speaking Spanish. Your app is really impressive, and I'm rooting for you. Anyway, so kind of feedback like that. We also had some feedback from somebody else in Austin. Hi, I'm a doctor in bilingual education and former teacher. I love your product. I just got so excited about this product because there is nothing like it. So that was exciting to have a PhD in this space really validate what we're doing and the effect on kids. So here's from somebody else. Hi, I just wanted to stop by and say how much I love your app. I've started to practice my Spanish on it, and I've seen a lot of improvement in my overall speaking. And then she goes on to say she's actually a Chinese teacher, and please, could we develop this in Chinese? So we'll get there someday. Here is my kindergarten students love the app and stories and games. They record themselves all the time. I really love it too. It's the best app that I can use for my little ones. Thank you. You've made my job so much easier. Okay, this one's lovely. This one's from a homeschooler. We homeschool in Spanish and English. I so appreciate that this app doesn't only read to kids, but encourages mastery of a story and the included vocabulary, by having the ultimate goal of the child recording their own voice, reading the story for themselves. Well done, Fabulingua. Oh, this one I love. This one's really sweet. She says, she actually did a post about this. And so this is the post. When your 6-year-old talks to you in Spanish and you have no idea what they're saying, child says, te quiero, while I'm making coffee. I didn't reply. I didn't know what he was saying or that he was saying it to me. He said, Mama, te quiero. What does that mean? I asked. I love you, he replied. Then my heart started melting and I was very happy that his lessons are working. I love you too, she said back to him. So some of the feedback we're getting from parents is from parents using it with quite young children. And so I have been using the app with my little one of 28 months. It's been a fantastic learning journey. We don't use screens at home with him, except for this app. He automatically understood how to use it. It's really child-friendly. The product is a fantastic one. My son is little and I can see what he's learning. The stories are part of his life, especially Rani la Rana. Then there's one in Spanish. Siempre lucho con ella pues vivimos fuera de nuestro país y le cuesta que hable español, pero de repente la veo repitiendo y me entró mucho amor. So basically that's like, I'm always fighting with her because we live outside our country and it is difficult for her to speak Spanish, but suddenly I see her repeating things and I get so excited. Oh, here. So one of the feedbacks we get from a lot of parents is how surprised they are at how, despite it being an input-based product, actually, if you respect the silent period and you're patient, suddenly they all just start speaking spontaneously. So we get a lot of feedback on that and a lot of feedback on how beautiful their pronunciation is, especially given they don't often, many of these kids don't have other sources of Spanish input. So we're absolutely loving this app. My son is suddenly answering me in Spanish, something he hasn't done in years. Oh, my kids have been using it since about December. They're now 8 and 9. They can now have conversations in Spanish. They're not fluent yet, but they're definitely on their way. This has been one of the best investments I've ever made. And there's another one. My 7-year-old daughter loves this app. She's always asking if she could do her Spanish lessons. I wish she was this excited about math and language arts lessons. So that's to the power of gaming. A lot of feedback. We get a lot of feedback from parents about how beautiful the stories are, because we've really made such an effort to select Latin American artists that are really, really talented. And so there's a lot of comments on how they love for their kids to be spending time in such a beautiful space. And that's really kind of ties in with my kids went to Montessori schools. So that's very much kind of part of the Montessori philosophy, that kids should be surrounded by really high quality things, not just like plastic and things that are kind of not nice, but just beautiful wooden products. And we've translated that in the digital world to a really beautiful digital experience, because the fact is that tablets, etc., have got this amazing capacity of just producing beautiful images. So why not lean into it and really bring a higher level of visual beauty into the lives of our children? We get a lot of requests for other languages.
When's that happening? When are we having the next language?
So the next language will be English for Spanish speakers, and that will be in the new year sometime. We're working on it right now. So I became your biggest fan recently. I was looking for Spanish language app for my kids that would be educational, fun, and effective. What you have created is amazing. I wish your app would offer other languages too. Learning these languages through reading stories with a simultaneous translation is the best way, in my opinion. Oh, this one here. Good evening. My daughter is loving your app. Very much appreciated. We live in Key West, Florida, so we're surrounded by native Spanish speakers. My daughter's accent from the app is spot on. She loves playing the app. It's an amazing teaching tool. Oh, okay. My darling son absolutely loves Hugo's stories and its illustrations. He's now hooked on Fabulingua and wants to use it daily. I wanted you now, then she posts an update. I wanted you to know that my darling son is speaking to me in Spanish this morning. It was perfect as far as I can tell, and he's never, ever done that before. A game changer. I've wanted to get my 3 kids to learn Spanish, but struggled to find the hook until we found this. The kids love the stories, love the games, and hearing themselves reading the stories. The stories are original, quirky, and fun, and the illustrations are gorgeous. The kids seem to understand the stories in the Spanish without getting frustration by the process of the translation. There must be something in how the translations are broken up. They're like quiet subliminal voice that illuminates but doesn't get in the way of the joy of the story. It's really sweet and charming. Congratulations on such a beautiful endeavor. This app is amazing. So detailed and engaging. I watched my daughter do it last night, 9-year-old, no Spanish before, just subscribed for our homeschool year. She loved it, and I love the voice of telling the story. Very smart and engaging. Thank you. And so they go on like this.
No, this is great stuff for sure. And this is your hope, right? Starting it. You wanted something like this to happen, to be able to help parents, teachers, and especially the kids to learn a second language, especially Spanish. So the goal is already achieved, and you want to continue so that the whole world knows about this, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the power of learning a second language during childhood just cannot be underestimated. And so I really wanted to bring this to families. So it would be fun and easy for families. I think a lot of people think of, they'd love to teach their kid a second language, but it sounds like it's going to be a real slog and really hard, so they don't do it. So developing something that's easy and fun and super accessible, both from a price point, but also it's like always in your hand and available. That's really what I wanted to do, so that everybody could have the benefits of learning a second language during childhood. And there's so many benefits, and I really wanted to share that, you know, so many brain benefits, social emotional benefits, and there's been so much research around that why would you not teach a kid a second language? And just because of those benefits. And then on top of it, they actually speak a second language and can communicate with whole new cultures, which is also so important in our global world.
And they can go easily to the App Store or Google Play and download Fabulingua now, or go to visit for more information at
fabulingua.com. Fabulingua, Fabulingua, fabulingua.com. That's right.
All right, Leslie, that was just great information to get to hear all that great feedback from your customers. So thanks again.
Thank you so much, Neil.
You're welcome. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.